What's going on, everybody? Man, Eric Wilson, alongside my brother, Mr. Alex Fleming, Florida Sun Review, Buck Report contributor, and Fantasy and Flavors. Uh, you know, there are some conversations that you have with family. There are some conversations you have with friends. And then there are those conversations that you just have to have with someone who understands where your anger comes from and can relate, but could also provide a bit of a true perspective on things. So that's why I brought my man Alex Fleming in here. And we just going to get right into it tonight. There's too much going on in this world for us not to talk about this. So as you can see behind me, you know, Bubba Wallace, he, someone in his camp, because he did not see it, found a noose in his garage. And the fact that this report came down immediately following the 2020 ESPYs last night, where all the talk was about inclusion, diversity, moving forward, progressing in the direction and they're wanting and needing and time for there to be change. And then this happens. It's just another example of the ignorance that exists in this country. So as opposed to me and Alex doing what we love to do, which is debate different sports topics such as Dak signing his money or the MLB probably figuring out what the hell they got going on, we have to talk about this. And as best as possible, I think we're going to try and be mindful of speaking to everybody, but I'm going to say this before I let Alex say what he has to say. It's a heinous act. I am appreciative of the fact that NASCAR has got behind Bubba Wallace in this. I'm even more excited that Richard Petty, a man who was a staple in NASCAR, is behind this. But until that person is brought to justice and there's accountability, NASCAR still will not be something that I can just wrap my head around and say, I need to immerse myself in this. I stand behind Bubba and I support him, and I am happy that he is taking the high ground in this. But damn. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. So there's a lot, and I mean a lot of clowns on ESPN and NASCAR fan pages trying to say this sounds like a Jussie Smollett type situation where he did this to himself to try to get extra attention. And then there's a lot of clowns saying that he's not that good of a driver, and that's why he probably had somebody in his camp do it. To all those clowns, idiots, bigots, you know who you are. Let me inform you of something. NASCAR drivers don't have access to their own garages. They enter their vehicles once it enters the track. So that's number one. So to hell with that whole Jussie Smollett garbage propaganda that you're trying to say. Number two, it just shows your ignorance and bigotry. Because the second something happens to the lone black NASCAR driver, you try to make the victim the culprit. Like, really? Really? Number three, black people kill each other all the time. The statistics for black on black crime is high. Whether they're black on black or black on white or black on officer or whatever the case may be, do you know the amount of black people that hang themselves by suicide? Need a second? You might want to Google it. It's less than 0.01%. Why? Because blacks have been conditioned to know in reserve memory banks, that's how racist bigots used to kill black people who they didn't agree with or found to be problematic. Now, for the clowns at Talladega, congratulations, Alabama. Once again, you show your true colors. You can't bring in Confederate flags into the event. So some guy goes out of his way to make a really big Confederate flag to fly it over the track. You know what? Fine. That's your prerogative. I actually don't have a problem with that because you spent your money to send a message. Good for you. Although I may not agree with it, I'll give you the First Amendment right to say whatever you want to say. Fine. To the ignorant bigot who did this, your time is running out. FBI's been involved. Now, whether it be fingerprints or camera, your days are numbered. It's coming. And to all of those clowns in ESPN and NASCAR chat rooms blaming the victim for this, shame on you. Your privilege is showing. Bro, in one thread, there was 2.5 thousand likes, hearts, cares, and laughs. 36 laughs. I bet you can guess what all 36 laughs have in common. There's a lot of ignorance in America right now. And it's to the point where it's boiling over. You take away Confederate flag, you take away Aunt Jemima, and you take away Confederate statues, which are treasonous, by the way, if you knew your damn history. So you go after the lone target of the last thing that you hold dear. I hope you clutch to your racism with your last breath, because dinosaurs like you are last of a dying breed.
To piggyback off of that, here's what I have to say. Let me look in the camera very clearly when I say this as well. And please excuse the colorful language that's about to come out my mouth. But to the ignorant son of a bitch that thinks that something like this was going to go not only unnoticed, but you weren't going to be held accountable for this, let me explain something to you. All you did was prove us right. That the ignorance that exists in this world is based nothing but on hatred for looking different. And if you think that you just gonna crawl back under whatever rock you came out from under and get away with this, oh no. Because I guarantee you one thing. If the FBI don't find you, and if NASCAR don't find you, you best believe brothers gonna find you. And when they do, you better pray to whoever you pray to, because your ass belongs to them. And that whole Jesse Smollett thing, I'm telling you right now, that was just something just to kind of appease the masses or talk to the people or try to find some way to spin this. But it's not going to work. Not going to work. I continually ask the question. And I still, to this day, it's been almost a month, and I still ain't got the answer to this question. How is being a black man in America wrong? You want to live on those ideals? You want to live like you feel you're better than everybody else? You need to get the hell out. Because I'm telling you this, we're not going away. We're not going to stop. And just because sports is coming back and life is going to somehow get back to normal, which we know it will, best believe change is right around the corner. So like we're told on so many levels and on so many different occasions, you got two choices. Either get on board or get the hell out the way.
There is one thing I find funny about this entire situation. NASCAR allowed that ignorant, treasonous flag for decades. For decades. Who would have thought that NASCAR, of all the sports brands, to be the one to have real, actual change It just boggles my mind that they allow a treasonous and racist flag to be endorsed at their tracks and events. But one driver who people claim isn't that good is the reason why NASCAR is changing everything up. No championships, no wins, and has already done more for the sport than almost any other driver. Imagine that.
As we used to say back in the 90s, things that make you go, My brother, I appreciate your time. Thank you. I knew we had to have this conversation. I look forward to hearing your perspective tomorrow.
Thank you for having me.
Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside my brother, Alex Fleming. Let's get on the right side of history, y'all, because it's about damn time we do it. Later.